What's up, design family, and welcome to another episode of Fit Design TV. On today's episode, we'll be doing something a little bit different. We'll be taking a closer look at the sportswear brand Alphalete, and I'll be unpacking 5 things that I think they do tremendously well and giving my opinion as an experienced sportswear designer on how you guys can implement some of these things in your own brand, your own company, whether you're an aspiring sportswear designer, someone who's really more established and looking to continue to expand, or just have a showcase, a case study on an existing brand and how they're doing things. Watch this video, you're gonna learn a ton of great tips. Hey guys, and welcome to Fit Design TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. There are 5 key things that I think Alphalete does phenomenally well, stuff that they do much better than existing competitors out there. Number 1 is they're really not afraid to iterate on their core products. Many brands, when they put out a product and it's not 100% where it needs to be, they don't necessarily get the stellar reviews that they're looking for or hoping for, may completely give up on X product. They don't iterate on it out of fear of failing on that again. However, I think that limits your potential for growth in the continuation, and chances are there are many people that actually did love the product and you're not giving them the chance to buy into iterations, different colors, different styles or cuts of the same core product. So don't be afraid to iterate. I'll give you specific examples from past Alphalete collections. One notable example is their Revival Seamless Legging, which was their first core seamless product that they put out, especially for the women's side. Initially, that product had issues with shear and an overall fit that caused camel toe issues. However, instead of taking that feedback and allowing them to shy away from creating a V2 or a V3 of that legging, they definitely came back, improved the fabric, improved the fit, put out the same product in different colorways, and continue to iterate. They carry that ethos throughout their entire collection, and they do great jobs at iterating on core products that represent their brand and bringing out a better and better version each time. If you think of some famous manufacturers, like something unrelated like Porsche, for example, they do the same thing with their core cars. This applies the same way in a brand or a clothing brand. So don't be afraid to iterate, to take a core product and to continuously try to push it and come up with a better and better product. You will find ways in how to improve, and you'll truly understand what makes a product good, and you'll be able to take those characteristics and implement them in future releases on new styles. They also do this on their cotton spandex line, so their performance t-shirt line. It's a core product that was their first release back in 2014, and they've continuously expanded and iterated on it, whether it's coming out with different cuts, different fabric blends, so coming up with the same fabric blend, but better knits, better fabric sourcing, better colorways, better print methods, so the way that they're printing on the garments to make them more durable, to make them more unique, different graphic styles. They're definitely always willing to iterate on the core product. So on and so forth. They do this a lot with other fabrics like their Luxe fabric and now their Surface fabric that they're currently using on their women's line. So don't be afraid to iterate. Number 2 is definitely when it comes to marketing. So if you're in the 21st century, you're 2020, you're going to be marketing on the internet. With Alphalete, it's quality over quantity, which is not something that you definitely see being pushed a lot in the current world, right? A lot of us preach, oh, you need to put out an insane amount of content to be able to be heard, to kind of break through the noise. And while part of that is true, it's important to be prevalent and to be present and consistently putting out content. Understanding the quality of content that you're putting out is, in my opinion, a bit more important than just the sheer quantity. That isn't to say that you shouldn't put yourself through your paces and be creating content consistently. However, what Alphalete does tremendously well is they focus on the types of imaging that they're putting out, the quality of their photos, the models, the locations, so on and so forth. And they do a great job of not flooding your feed with the same types of content day in, day out that can lead you to be a bit desensitized. So if you end up seeing one of their posts, you pay a little bit more attention because it's not necessarily something you see on an hour-to-hour basis. So quality over quantity is super important. That being said, quantity, when an acceptable level of quality and kind of distribution has been reached, is also important. So it is a balance that I definitely want you guys to consider. Number 3 is their influencers. So again, if you're marketing in 2020, chances are you're looking at using influencers and leveraging their audience to bring attention to your product. Every now and then you'll find that XYZ brand has hired XYZ influencer to put their product on their page, and we've essentially become desensitized to that. Just about everyone calls himself an influencer, and just about every brand has an athlete lineup. I think what Alphalete has also done tremendously well is they've curated their athlete lineup quite carefully and made sure that the people that they've selected represent their brand in the ways that they deem fit. Even if the owner has to personally get involved into selecting the people, you have to understand that these are not just people peddling snake oil, they're showing people your product. You want to make sure that it's the right person. I believe that especially as a smaller brand, it's easy to get carried away to send your product to just about anyone who's willing to talk about it. However, in the long run, that allows you to fall out of touch with the brand that you're creating. And it doesn't allow you to strengthen the brand equity in a way that you need to, right? Brand equity is everything. Creating a brand that people want to buy is just as important as creating a product that people want to buy. So having people represent your brand in the right way is more important than having more people represent your brand. So they've always done a great job at carefully selecting their influencers and their athletes and not necessarily going for the widest spread possible. And number 4 is they are great at maintaining a consistent aesthetic. Alphalete, the brand, knows what it is. They know who their target customer is, and they know who buys their product. So they are very consistent in the aesthetics of products that they launch. That isn't to say that they want to stagnate or to consistently put out the same thing time and time again. However, they do know who's buying their product and they cater to these people, right? Whether it's a larger demographic or smaller demographic, understanding who is interested in your product is going to be key. They don't deviate from their core audience, and they definitely don't try to take on too many personas at once. The brand definitely knows it's not a fast fashion brand like a White Fox or an Opali, especially on the women's side, and they know that they're not a strictly streetwear brand. They know that they're not a hypebeast brand. They know they're not a technical sportswear brand. They know what type of person buys their product, and they stick to that, and they really try to build on that, telling their customers, we know who you are and we want to create products that you're going to consistently love. So having a strong understanding of your customer base is number 1. So if you have the luxury of data, look at it, see what types of people are buying, what areas they live in, what general ages are they, male or female, what are your most common products, so on and so forth, so that you can consistently build on this strong aesthetic. And consistency in your brand means you take your brand seriously. However, do not let that mean that you should become boring. So kind of take on the same approach day in, day out. Consistency doesn't necessarily equate to, let's just say, a lack of innovation. You can innovate with consistency. You can continuously put out a better product that matches your core ethos. So that kind of lets me segue into number 5, and that they're super community driven. Alphalete itself gets its beginnings from the owner. People may, in this day and age, people may not or may know this, that it's founded by an athlete called Christian Guzman, and it was kind of like a natural extension of his own personal merchandise, CG Fitness apparel. And taking Alphalete from CG Fitness into Alphalete, and now it's become something much, much bigger than what it used to represent at its core. Still, it does represent a strong community feeling that gets its beginnings from that merchandise, packing it in your closet, selling it online, right? That very warm and personalized touch between the customer and the brand creates this community, and they're very understanding of, like I said, who their customer is and what they look for from the brand, and they very much love to push that community feeling, whether it's with their athletes or with events that they create. There are some shredding events, or they're hosting their pop-up events, so on and so forth. Creating a strong sense of community is going to be key. People want to feel like they belong, and clothing is a tangible way to allow someone to instantly feel that they're having a kind of like insight or a gateway into this brand, right? A physical, touchable way of doing that. Community, whether it's their ethos, which is like dream more, learn more, be more, and kind of sticking true to that and pushing that as a model for the brand, whether it's in physical format, aka putting it on the product, or it's in an ideological format in the way that they engage their customers, the content they put out, so on and so forth. Creating a community-driven brand is going to be key. Some of the most successful brands in the world have a cult-like following to them. So that is a strong word, but it does give a strong insight into how some of these upper echelon brands are operating. They really have people that care about their product and that they can relate to their product, and they want to continuously buy their product. And obviously these brands shouldn't take it for granted. Community-driven brands obviously always do well. Hopefully you guys have taken something away from these 5 key points. I definitely think that there's something in there for everyone. That isn't to say that Alphalete is the perfect brand. They don't have space to improve, but as an established brand and someone that knows the brand quite intimately, I wanted to share these key 5 topics that I believe that they do really well, and that people such as yourselves, aspiring entrepreneurs, or people just looking to create something for their own can learn from. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider smashing a thumbs up. It tremendously helps us out. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, consider subscribing if you haven't already. We put out around 2 to 3 videos a week, a mix of tutorials and other informative type videos about sportswear design, fashion design, graphic design, so on and so forth. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for taking the time out of your day to tune in to Fit Design TV. Until next time, stay awesome.